Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the last prophet of the funky Texas blues, Willie J. Laws, and all the way from Verona, Roberto Morbioli.
Southwest of Corpus Christi on Highway 77 lies the city of Kings, a little piece of South Texas heaven. There in Kingsville, Texas, y'all, that's where I heard a blues band play. Lester Reese and Nature Boy with my Uncle Donald Ray, grooving at my grandma's house until late into the night. Going to the Red Rooster as soon as the grooves got tight. On that day I turned 8, y'all, the great spirit that directs us revealed the reason I was born to play them funky blues from Texas. They call me the prophet, I'm the bringer of the news. They call me the prophet, last prophet of the funky Texas blues, y'all. Third Ward, Houston, Texas, a blues man took me under his wings. He showed me some chords, he said, "Buddy, be true when you sing." I would talk to him some summers with no suggestion of his fame. And let me tell y'all something, Lightning Hopkins was his name. Call me the prophet, I'm the bringer of the news. They call me the prophet, last prophet of the funky Texas blues. Oh, I'll be making a stand with a guitar in my hand. I'm gonna take you to a mountain fire, making that cornbread moan. Oh, we're gonna drink and go up to the cornbread mountain. Godfather, the gentleman of the blues. Out on the road with Philip Walker is how I learned to do what I do. Jay, he would say, keep it simple and take your time. Don't bury all your tone, Junior, that'll be a show enough crime. And he would say the way you look, son, is only about half of your show. But if you treat your fans like your family, then you know that you're good to go. Thinking about the promise, y'all, that I made to him the day that he left us to lead that great crusade for them funky blues from Texas. They call me the prophet, I'm the bringer of the news. They call me the prophet, last prophet of the funky Texas blues, y'all. Call me the prophet, I'm the bringer of the news. Oh, they call me the prophet, last prophet of the funky Texas blues, yeah. woke up in the morning, I wash my face so fast, drink my special coffee, and I'm always gonna last. But I don't care about you, baby. I don't care about you, baby. And now I pay my dues, 'cause I'm in the blues. Walking along the street, bring my best guitar. I met my friends Willie at the bar, at the crosstown bar. And I don't care about you, baby, 'cause I don't love you no more. And now I pay my dues, 'cause I'm in the blues. Now listen, come on, Willie. I'm in the blues. I'm in the blues. I'm in the blues. I'm in the blues, yeah, I do, yeah. And now I pay my dues, 'cause I'm in the blues. Go tell her. I wrote a brand new song, baby, talk about love. I put it in my pocket and I played all night long. But I don't care about you, baby. I don't care about you, baby.
Oh, no, I don't care. I don't care about nobody.
I don't care about you, darling, 'cause I don't love you no more.
Oh, no.
Listen now.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Tunes. I am your host, Frank Walsh. Thanks for tuning in today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these two folks who you just heard hail from quite a far away distances. One comes from Texas, one comes from Verona, Italy. And rather than me talk about them, let's hear them talk about themselves, and you can learn a lot about them just as I will. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Roberto Morbioli and Mr. Willie J. Laws.
Hey.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
What's
Hey.
up, Frank?
Thank
How
you,
are
Frank.
I appreciate it, and Roberto, we almost had a little mix-up here. We had scheduled the show for about a week from now, but you were going to be back home.
Yeah, Monday I'm back home.
I know, so I really
For
appreciate
Christmas.
you adjusting your schedule
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry,
doing this
man.
today. I'm glad
I
you
gotta
did.
go.
And Willie, you're an old pro, man. You've been here, what, 9-10 years ago?
It was about 10 years ago with Tony Lynn Washington.
Yeah, that was when
That was
we
the
were
last
kind
time
of
I was
in,
here.
I wouldn't say in our infancy, but it was kind of when we were kind of, raising the bar a little bit on the show and getting a more broader-based guest. And
For sure, yeah. I mean, yeah. Thanks to your show and just the New England audiences in general, really, just very, very, very supportive.
They are very
So,
supportive,
it's
and it's for people like you coming on the show that really helped me do that. So,
Thank you.
just as much as this will give you some publicity, it gives me a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, Roberto, being the new kid on the block here, why don't we take a little bit of time and talk about your background a little bit? I know you're from Verona,
Yep.
so why don't you kind of roll back the clock a little bit and let the folks at home know about Roberto Morbioli?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with a family with music. My father was a guitar player. My grandfather was a guitar player.
Really?
So I used to have a lot of parties in the house, so I grew up with music. And one day I discovered rock and roll music. I was 10 years old.
So we're talking, what, 50s, 60s kind of music? That kind of rock and roll?
50s,
Really?
50s,
50s,
yeah. Eddie
okay.
Cochran, Gene Vincent, that kind of rock and roll. There was a guy in my street. He used to go back and forth to the United States for business, and every time he's back home with the vinyl, And he was a rock and roll guy, so. And he invited me because he knows I love music, and I listen to recording all the time there. I play guitar by myself, but I was not really a good guitar player. I still.
You were self-taught?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I start to and I put the band together, 3 pieces band. Start playing.
How old were you then? Were you young when you did that?
12 years old.
Really? You put a
Yeah.
band together at 12?
12.
Wow.
Yeah. And the first concert was I was maybe 16 years old.
Do you remember that first song you played?
Jesus,
Or,
I don't remember.
Were you playing some of that American music?
Oh yeah, American music actually. Oh yeah, only American music. It was a rock and roll. I don't know. Maybe it was a song from Chuck Berry. I don't know. Maybe it could be Johnny B. Good or something like this. Yeah.
Now, you were playing guitar, and then you had a little bass thrown in there too, didn't you? Play a
Yeah.
little bass?
I mean, after a while, I have a chance. I just grab a bass in the store, and I got nice feeling with the bass. I said, "Oh my God, look at that!" And then I start playing bass, and then I forget about the guitar.
Really?
I leave a guitar in the corner and I start playing bass and I play with American acts. So in Europe.
Really?
I did a lot of tour around.
How long did you play the bass?
10 years.
Wow.
Oh yeah, 10 years.
What made you switch back to the guitar?
I mean, at some point, I decided to go back with the guitar because it was really difficult to get a gig, and that because I was a singer also, and I couldn't find a way to make a project with me on bass, So I back to the guitar, and when the people listen to me play guitar, you don't play bass anymore. You have to play guitar. That's kind of.
Now, Will, you can jump in here too. How easy or difficult is it to make a transition from playing the guitar to playing the bass, or playing the bass to going to the guitar? How easy or difficult a transition is that?
It's the way you see the music, or you figure it out about music. I mean,
You read music, I take it.
I'm a really rhythm guy.
Okay.
So also when I play solos, this is my way to play. I'm on the rhythm. I play close to the drummer,
Okay.
and he knows that.
What about you, Willie, about that? You know,
It's
that
the
question
same.
there, going from, you know, guitar to bass. How easy or difficult is it to switch instruments like that?
Well, for me, it's the, I guess, scales, bass scales, because Roberto's played it, you know, longer than I have, and he's done gigs with the bass, where I've maybe like studio or just writing my own stuff, you know.
I've never seen you play the bass out. I've seen you
I
many
tell
times.
you, I never play bass in the United States.
Really?
I do sometimes they let me do, because every time I say, can I play a bass? No, no, play guitar. I love the way you play. I'm a bass player. I want to play with you. So I never get a chance.
Really? Now, how did you start, you know, with the evolution of your music? You started playing when you're teenagers. When did you start to branch out and people started noticing and say, hey, you know, let's pay some attention to this Morbioli guy? You know, when did the scales start tipping where it's like, wow, I might be able to do this as a career. I might be able to make some money of this. I might be able to expand my horizons. But what age did that happen to you?
I tell you, this happened to me very early.
Really?
But the military service took me away for a while. No instrument, no guitar, nothing.
Well, thank you for your veteran service there.
Yeah, and then after that, I back home, and my father said, you know, you gotta find a job right now. So I start work with my father.
What kind of work?
He was a seller.
Okay.
Tailor seller.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I worked with him, so no time, and I start, and in my mind I was always musicians. I never think about something else to do, some different job, and then I start play during my work, regular job and music. You know, I do that both for years, for 14 years.
Really?
And then when I get married with my wife, I told my wife, listen, I don't want to do this job anymore. I mean, I work with my father. I want to do only music. She said, okay, go.
And then started from there?
And I started from there. It was a 96.
Good for you.
No more.
So 96.
For 96, yeah.
Good. We're going to come back to that. Willie, why don't you jump in there and kind of roll back your clock a little bit and you know, talk a little about Willie and some of your roots from Texas and how you kind of migrated through your music and ended up here.
Well, like you said, I grew up in South Texas.
South Texas.
A town called Taft, T-A-F-T,
Okay.
Taft, Texas. Funny, it was the president's brother, Charles Taft, William H. Taft, the
Sure.
president. Excuse me. His brother Charles was kind of the guy that, you know, he didn't find the town or found the town because there were Comanche Indians and stuff like Mexicans there way before him, but he's the guy that just kind of claimed it and named it Taft. But it's a farming and ranching community right on the Gulf Coast, on the Gulf of Mexico, close to Corpus Christi. So I grew up with a lot of different genres of music. My first memories of any kind of music, I guess, would be my uncle Don, who was my mom's younger brother. He was a drummer. And then my brother-in-law, my first brother-in-law, he was a guitar player. And he was killed, excuse me, my first brother-in-law was killed in a car accident when I was maybe like 8 years old, 9. But that was like my first like memory of, you know, seeing somebody with a guitar and playing, you know.
What kind of music back then? Were you playing, you know, Texas twang stuff? Or
No, I listened to everything.
Listen to everything?
I listened to everything.
Yeah.
There was an old man that had a pool hall across the street, and he had a jukebox. And this jukebox had everything. Man, I'm coughing like crazy.
Let me take a pause.
Some water.
We can cut that.
Yeah.
I'll cut that. Good stuff so far.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to come back to it.
Sorry about that.
Oh, look at
And
that.
Bobby stopping. Ah. Hey, hello.
Look at that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Straight away.
You need one too? I'm
Yeah.
surprised they didn't give you one. Want a water?
Thank you, buddy. So kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Whew, thank you.
I'll
Thank you. That helps so much.
You
Can we
if
start
you
that
want-
over? I can do it faster.
No, yeah, well, I'll just go back to the Taft thing if you want. So
Okay.
I'll kind of lead you into that.
Okay.
All right. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. So Willie, you hail from Taft, Texas, right?
Taft, Texas.
And they would name that after one of the old presidents. He just kind of.
The president's brother, Charles. Well, the president was William H. Taft.
Yep.
His brother Charles. It's like it's a farm and ranching community, but there's industry down there, refineries, oil refineries, aluminum plant. It was a bauxite refinery plant.
Really?
That's where my
Wow.
dad worked. He worked out at it was Reynolds Aluminum,
Wow.
and My dad worked out there. So man, I'm a union kid, bro. I grew up, man. Shoot, AFL-CIO, baby. Oop.
Go Union.
Hey, man,
Good
you
for
better.
You. Good for you.
Buy American as much as I can. I really do.
Amen.
I really do.
Where'd you find your music?
Just grew up around it.
Yeah.
I grew up around it.
You had an uncle who was a drummer?
My uncle was a drummer. My uncle Don, he was a drummer. My mom's youngest brother. And then my first brother-in-law, Charles, who was he was killed in a car accident when I was probably about 8 or 9.
Wow.
But 9. He was a guitar player, and he had one of those old Silvertone
Yeah.
guitars.
Yep.
Nice guitar.
Yeah, one of
Those,
those. Man, my niece has it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, his daughter, my niece, she still has that guitar.
When did you pick it up? When did you get that bug and say, you know what, I want to start playing some music too? How'd that come about?
My Aunt Janelle, really, I guess she gave me my first guitar when I was about 8 or 9.
Wow.
And she just, here. Yeah, it was just a little,
And you just
little
started
kid guitar.
self-teaching?
but-
Just self-teaching,
self-taught.
self-playing, right?
Self-taught.
Did you ever take lessons? You never took
listening to
lessons?
records. No, I listening to records, and
Wow.
and then as I got older, started having the opportunity to see live music, because live music was really there was a lot more live music in the time that I was growing up in the 70s, late 60s and 70s. And like in my neighborhood especially, man, there were like maybe 2 or 3 different bands.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you in those places, were you one of those kids that would go and sneak into the clubs at night and listen to some bands, or
And
sneak into the bars and do that kind of stuff?
in Kingsville, Texas, I would.
You do that, yeah?
Yeah, that's where my grandmother lived, my mom's mom, and so we would go over there sometimes we would usually go to Kingsville. It was always twice a month on weekends, because my grandfather also had a small place, and so my mom and dad would go and help him run it on weekends. And there was a place called the Red Rooster, and that's where my Uncle Don and his band, the name of the band was Lester Reese and Nature Boy. Was the name of the band.
Interesting.
Dude. And so when my grandmother would go to sleep, we'd wait for her to start snoring, and out the window we would go across the highway.
That's cool.
Over to the Red Rooster. My uncle would catch me over there and be like, "Man, what are you doing here?" Snatch me. Go, "You sit right here. Sit right here. Don't you move."
That's cool.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's cool. Now I'm going to throw it back to both of you, but let's start with you, Willie. It's like, where did you develop your style when you started playing guitar? You could have been a rock player. You could have played rock and roll. Where did you start developing your style and say, hey, I want to be a blues guy? Or, was that something that you kind of migrated in? Where did you develop your style?
Man, just, growing up with all those Texas players. I'm talking about like Freddie King, Gatemouth Brown.
All blues guys.
Texas Johnny Brown, Clarence Holloman, and all the old Duke Peacock records, like Bobby Bland records. I mean,
Bobby Blue.
All of that stuff was around me a lot. But also Tejano music and conjunto music, which is traditional Mexican music from South Texas, and that area, that part of South Texas, very close to Mexico. There's not like this huge black population or African American population down there. So like I was saying earlier, we grew up with all this
Right.
I
whole
had country
potpourri of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
man, I had country. I had the conjunto music, and I also had Zydeco music coming from Louisiana. Besides the blues and jazz and the funk and the R&B, which was like normal.
So all of those
genre.
things
So
kind of
they-
imbued
they just-
themselves
they-
into
they
your
infused
music, and you
themselves
just kind of started developing that?
into my style and to my playing.
What about you, Roberto? When did you start developing your style and say, hey, I want to be a blues guy? Because, you came up with rock and roll,
Yeah.
those people you were talking about are pure rock and roll.
Yeah.
Shredders, most of them, real
correct.
shredders. How'd you develop your style, and when did you, put your hat on and say, hey, I want to be a blues guy?
So it's really strange. But I started listening to rock and roll music, so I didn't know about blues when I was 10, 12 years old. So then I discovered, what the hell? And then one day, this guy, the same guy, he wrote an LP, The Muddy Waters. So and this is a blues, maybe you're going to like it. When I listened to that, I said, now I know what the hell is that? So why the rock and roll is so good? Because the blues. So from the blues, I discovered the jazz, and then I jumped to the blues because I fell in love with the blues music straight away with one recording. You can imagine. Then I go, like he said, Albert Collins, Albert King,
Right.
BB, and then also G. Beato. A lot of John Lee Hooker, of course, and then I discovered the acoustic blues. So, and because I used to play a lot of acoustic guitar when I was a kid, so I didn't have money to buy an electric guitar. And my father one time he said, "Okay, I got a guitar for you," and I started playing electric. But I always use a finger. I never use a plectrum for,
Okay.
So to play guitar, so to me, I didn't know about the technique, about the country style, and the finger picking and something like this. Because at that time there was not internet,
Right.
and it's very difficult to find also videotape with the lessons, because in Europe we can find something, but everything it was very rare, very difficult to find.
Now, you were talking about, a lot of your influences were American. How was the music scene over in Italy? Were there any people whom you emulated or idolized over in Italy that, that helped you and your influences, or was it purely American?
Oh, I tell you, my father, he didn't speak English, but he loves American music. My
Right.
father was a Sinatra fan,
Right.
Frank Sinatra. So, and he plays some songs, but just music,
Right.
not instrumental,
Right.
But he sings a lot of Italian old stuff.
Okay.
Which is it was for me very good for my inspiration for my career, because it's a lot of swing music, also in Italy.
Right.
And I grew up also with that part of the Italian music. I never went to the pop music. It's not my
Not your
stuff.
style,
But
yeah.
my style. But I grew and I mixed everything together, And so my grandfather, he used to play mandolin, and he played classical, folk music, Italian
Really?
folk
Wow.
music. But at the end, I discovered that the country music in America is not really far from that. So, and this is, I put everything together, and this was now, when I wrote a song, I don't wrote a song because I'm a blues guy. I wrote a song because I love music,
like
and
to
I
write.
got a lot of influence,
Right. Now, did you ever
Same
get into
for
any
you, right
jazz,
there.
Willie? Did you ever get into any jazz at all?
Some, but not much, because I was really always wrapped up in the blues, and and it kept me working a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I was always working, doing my stuff, writing my own material, and
What brought you east from Texas? You know, did you make any stops along the way, or was it a direct flight?
not a direct line by any means. I joined the military when I was 17.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
Ended up in Japan for about 4 or 5 years. I came home, California for a little bit, and that's when I really kind of started to develop my style, and work a lot in San Diego. I was working a lot. So with that working a lot, that just built up my chops, built up my technique, built up my voice, built up.
Now, when you were playing out there, you know, did you meet any of the big players? And, you know, it always interests me how musicians, when they start out, next thing you know, they're playing with Muddy. You know, they're playing with a lot of
On
these
the
big
road
names.
with a lot of
They're on
people
the
or
road,
whatever.
but,
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
did you
yeah.
have any help from these people? Did you
One
you looked
cat,
out in
man.
your audience and you saw somebody there and said, hey, you know.
No, one guy that was my mentor was Philip Walker, the late Philip Walker. Philip was my mentor. And Philip taught me enough to where I could put my own band together and hold down a gig in any town that I go to and not have to be hassling about going on the road too much. And, you know, I mean, you know.
You could write your own schedule, do your own
pretty
thing.
much.
Right? Pretty
And
much.
I've always been fortunate that way in my career. Is I like when I lived in San Diego, I was working 6 nights a week, right in San Diego.
Right.
I didn't have to go on the road.
Nice.
When I moved to New Orleans, that's when I kind of started traveling. But then I was traveling on my own, but my own deal. I didn't have to go out with anybody else. But playing a lot in New Orleans, though, I mean that was my Berkeley.
Good for you.
New Orleans was my Berkeley, because I played with so many people that aren't here now, anymore.
How long have you been around Massachusetts?
I've been here now for almost 14 years, I guess.
That all?
Yeah,
14?
right. 14.
Wow,
yeah,
it
almost
seems a lot
14,
longer
yeah.
than that.
Yeah, about 14 years.
Seems a lot longer.
It will
than that.
it actually be 14 years in next year, 2025.
Wow. Now, Roberto, you came up over in Italy, and I'm sure you played a lot around Europe.
Yeah,
You know,
I did.
Talk about some of those adventures. I'm sure you probably played in the surrounding areas. You played in France. You played, probably Spain a lot. Talk about when you started branching out and hitting the road, and what was that like for you?
I mean, I used to play in Italy for, let's say, 15 years.
Really?
And never go out.
Really?
Never play out of Italy for 15 years.
Was that by choice or just?
There was a lot of music there, a lot of
Was
venues,
okay.
a lot of festivals. So there was no reason to. But when they opened the frontier in Europe, and then you can travel without any problem, because for musicians, before, if you go out of Italy with your van, they check everything.
Really?
So they stop you at the border. They open the car. They check everything.
Really? Okay.
And so you was not able to grab your recording. If you have a recording with you, you have to declare and pay taxes on it.
Wow.
Which was at that time, I mean, the 80s and 90s, it was a nightmare because it was really expensive to make a recording that time. So this is when they opened the frontier, I say, okay, let's go and see what's happened there. And we discover it. But there is Germany, it's full of clubs, they love blues there. They go crazy for that. Spain, the same. France, it's amazing, the music scene there. So, and from that, I have a chance to go to Russia for a tour. Also Willie was there.
Did you play in Siberia?
I played in Siberia.
I thought so. I thought you were telling me that you played in Siberia.
No, I was there for a long tour, 15 days on the road. The whole
Winter or
Siberia.
summer?
Winter.
Oh,
With
God.
the snow. In New England, the snow is nothing compared.
I know.
And very cold.
What kind of an audience did you draw?
Jeez, full every night.
Wow.
The culture, the music there is very important. I play mostly in the theater. It was a Philharmonic theater.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine do a blues in Philharmonic theater.
Wow.
With 1,000
At least
people.
you had good acoustics, right?
Beautiful. They have two standway piano there.
Yeah, yeah.
One the backup in the backstage, and the other one is already there, and the PA, everything. Oh my God! I don't know how many people they worked for the night.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Somebody last week asked me what a Steinway, and I said about 200 pounds. Well, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So,
Willie, when did you start going to Europe? And follow up with that is when did you
First
two guys
time
meet? Two separate questions. When did you start going over to Europe?
I
and
first
what brought
started
you
going to
over there?
Europe 1995, and that's right before, like Robert said, right before everything opened up, and
Yeah.
and so I did experience the border checks and having to declare my CDs, and it was kind of a hassle.
Now, did you go over
Hassle.
there with preset
But-
gigs set for you?
Yes.
Or did you go over there?
Yeah, I
and
went
just
over there.
wanted to
Actually,
wander over there?
I'd met this couple from Germany, older couple from Germany that really, really loved blues music. They would come to New Orleans every year, and they were good friends with a gentleman by Eddie Bow, the late Eddie Bow, a piano player and singer. And we used to do, Eddie and I were doing shows together at Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville there in New Orleans. It would be, I would play there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 2 to 5. And then from 5 to 8, Eddie Bow would come on. And then from 8 to about 11 would be Coco Robichaud. So us three, man, on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. And we played in the small part of Jimmy Buffett. So, man, it was like the little packed crazy all the time. And, people from all over the world, met this couple from Germany, and they said, we'd like to, see if we can book you in Dusseldorf. That's where they were from. And I'm just like with anybody that says they like to do anything in a club. Yeah, go ahead, whatever. Here's my number.
Right.
I never,
Right.
whatever. I've learned too much over the years in these clubs, right? So, but hell, sure enough, about a month later, they got in touch with me, and they said, "Well, we have a band in Germany named the Down Home Blues Band." My buddy Roberto knows them.
I know that.
We can arrange maybe 16 or 17 shows.
Nice.
I said, "Oh, okay." So I went over, did that, met my friends, lifelong friends now from Germany. So I did the Germany, and then we got into France a little bit, and I met another couple from Italy as well at the same time, Fabrizio and Angelina.
See.
At around about the same time, and it was the same thing. They said, "Well, we have some gigs in Italy, maybe 17." So I ended up staying over there about a month,
Good for
a
you.
month and a half, and I kind of established myself with that.
Good for you.
And then I went sometimes twice a year after that, and up until 2001. And everything, just because the whole world changed then.
Everything changed. Yeah.
And so it kind of slacked off a little bit, and then I picked up again when I moved to Las Vegas. I kept kind of going to Germany. I kept that Germany connection going.
Nice.
But I met Roberto here in Massachusetts.
Yeah. I was going to say, what brought you to the States? How'd you get over to the States?
It's a long story.
Deported?
I met
Deported to the United States. Oh yeah, that's a good
I
one.
met a guy. It's a story. I tried to make it short, but it's a long story.
Go ahead.
Anyway, this friend, this guy from Boston, he's got a marble company in Charlestown.
Okay.
So this guy, he went to Italy for business, and he was at the exhibition, marble exhibition, and he goes around this guy, and at some point he stopped in some company, and there was a lady there, and he asked a question about marble, and the lady said, "What do you miss very much from United States right now?" And he said, "You know what? I miss live music." This lady says, "Okay, you want to see what kind of music you like?" "I like blues. Blues is my favorite, but I listen to everything."
Right.
So there is a good concert tonight, and it was my concert.
Really?
So he showed up there, and he said, "Oh my God, you gotta come to Boston because you play so well." So, blah, blah, blah. You know, that kind of things.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I said, "But why are you coming? What are you doing here?" "You know what? I went to the expo, and the lady there." "What the kind of lady?" "Oh, it's a lady with the blonde hair. Her name is Samantha. It's my wife." So, yes, it's true. So
Wow.
he invited me here, and this is 2002, the first
Wow.
time. So now it's 22 years. I go back
Wow.
and forth. I got my visa, O1 entertainment
Good
visa.
for you. Good
So
for you.
it was a very hard to get in.
Right.
The very beginning, I was here in January
Right.
with the snow. I didn't know about no one club. I don't know no one musician, nobody in the.
How was your
in the
English? How
music.
was your? Did you speak English when you were in Italy? Or did you learn a lot of it when you were here?
From the music,
Just from the music.
from the
really?
recording.
Wow.
Yeah. I never went to school for. You can tell me this. My English is very poor.
No, you do
No.
well. You do well. You speak all right. There ain't nothing wrong with you talking.
Because you're so nice.
Well, I'm an old
You
English
understand.
teacher, so
If I go to London, they don't understand me. Believe
really,
me. Yeah.
really. And how'd you guys meet up?
He came to my gig, I believe, with his wife. That
with
was
Joan.
your girlfriend, actually. That time.
Joan was my girlfriend at the time.
Where
yeah.
is it? Was at Boston?
No, was it at Marshville?
No. It was on the harbor there. in
Oh, the Boston Marina, or the Marina,
Yeah,
or
the
whatever. It was that short-lived
Yeah.
place down there
I know what you mean. Yeah.
on the
yeah.
Marina. Summertime.
It was.
I don't
In
think.
Boston,
I don't
right?
think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I don't
Back
think
the
they made it
pavilion, I know
a
where it is.
year.
Yeah, I
I
know
can't
where it is.
remember the
Yeah, I
name
know
of
where
They
you
it.
put a
are.
tent
The pavilion.
there.
Yep.
Correct.
I know
Yeah.
where you are.
And that's where we met.
And he
Wow.
came and he said, somebody told me there is this guy is a guitar player, and you play, right?
We sat in
Played
and played together.
two, three songs
And
together.
yeah, I sat
Yeah,
in two.
because that was what, like 10, 11 years ago, right? Since you guys have been together?
11.
11 years? Yeah,
yeah.
about 11
Yeah,
years ago.
because after I just realized you was at the airport. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was working at the airport
Yeah,
at the time.
really?
Yeah.
And he called me, said, "Come on, kid, we have a coffee together before you leave."
Wow.
And we start talking together at the airport, actually. And he said, "You know, Willie, what about if we do something in Europe?" You remember?
Yeah.
I said, "Oh yeah, I want to do, but you got a job here. Don't worry. I want to go." And we organized a tour in Europe.
And you've been scratching each other's back ever since, right? You bring them over here, he
Yeah.
brings you over there, and all
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff.
it's
Yeah,
good.
well, cool.
It's
Yeah.
good.
And I did those 3 things in Russia too at that one time,
yeah,
and
you went there
and they
also.
we tied the end to Italy, and
Yeah,
so that was cool. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about your music for a little bit, so I think it might be time for the folks at home to hear a little bit more of it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, we're going to take a little break, folks, and I want you to sit back and buckle up and listen to Roberto and Willie, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Sorry, Charlie. And that one in
Okay. G, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Charlie. Your rolling mill is burning down. I'm sorry, Charlie. Your rolling mill is burning down. Man, your bucket got a hole in it, Charlie. And I watch it burn. Sorry, Charlie, but folks ain't taking your mess. I'm sorry, Charlie, but folks ain't taking your mess. Your time thinking, Charlie, that you are all above the rest of us. Now look out there. Whoa, Charlie. Partner, you can't dance no more. Whoa, Charlie. Buddy, you can't dance no more. Woman that took your shoes, gave them to that other dude. Now that other dude, he got your shoes out on the floor. Are you mad now, Charlie? Put you down. Sorry, Charlie. Buddy, we got to put you down. Yeah, we do, man. Charlie, we got to leave your circus, buddy, because you are a scary, scary clown. Yeah. Sorry, Charlie. What about that? Yeah, man. And you?
I got one.
Yeah. Last one. I'll feel it. I'll feel it. Okay.
You can feel.
Okay.
Come with me deep into my mind to a special place so kind. I'm talking about my mother's house. A little boy full of hopes and dreams, following the stream, feel the
remembering beachy noises and sweet smells. I like it to grow up forever by the rain came to dwell. I close my eyes beside the music and togetherness. Wild and boys the rose, I'm taken to my mother's house. My mother's house. My mother's house is the best place to me, the place where I wanna be. Roof so high, the big walls made of stones. No wind ever take you down. Sanctuary at my mother's house. Forevermore, my favorite place to be. No wind ever take you down. Sanctuary at my mother's house. Remembering beachy noises and sweet smells. I like it to grow up forever by the ring and came to dwell. I close my eyes inside the music and togetherness. Wild and bold to rose, I've taken to my mother's house. My mother's house. My mother's house is the best place to me, the place where I wanna be. Mother's house, my mother's house is the best place to me, the place where I wanna be, the place where I wanna be, place where I wanna be, place where I wanna be. My mother's house. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, guys, once again, you didn't disappoint, playing those little guitars. Now, this is a little different for you because every time I've seen you, maybe with one exception with you, Willie, is that you're playing electric. Today you're going a little bit acoustic.
Yeah, I mean,
how easy or difficult is it to make that transition going from acoustic to electric, as far as how you play and the way you play and all that?
It's something different. I talk about my side is different.
Well, you grew up on it, right? You grew up on it. Right,
different approach. For example, if I wrote a song with acoustic guitar, and then I play an electric on the recording, it's something different,
Yeah.
And if I build a song with the electric guitar, it's different because
you switch to acoustic,
yes,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. And so It depends. Also, if I change a guitar, I play different.
Right.
You don't believe that, but
believe it.
you
agree with that,
too,
Willie?
right? You got a
Definitely,
Gibson.
you
If you
agree
jump
with
Yeah,
to
it's a
the
different
Strat,
approach because they feel different. They all
Yeah.
feel different, sound different, of course. So I adjust. I try to adjust my mind or adjust whatever it is that I do when I have one in my hand. I try to adjust my whatever to how that guitar sounds and how it feels and how. You know.
Right. Let me just flip back a little bit as far as when you started playing and started doing your thing. I'm sure you were playing a lot of covers, right? I'm assuming you made a lot of covers. When did you start writing? When did you say, you know what, I've had enough of playing other people's music. I'm going to start writing my own. When did that start for you, Willie?
I've always kind of done it.
Really?
Yeah, I've always kind of done it, but it really started once I started understanding a little bit of theory, music theory, chord changes, and that kind of stuff. Then that's when it started. Like more lyrics and songs started to form.
Which
As
comes
I- as
first,
I
the
increased my
melody or the
knowledge.
lyrics?
It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's
Either or?
It's either or. Yeah.
Where do you get your influences from? What sparks that? Say, hey, I'm going to write a song, or hey, this reminds me of something. I'm going to write a song about it. What sparks
Well,
your
as a matter of
interest?
fact, Roberto and I are working on some stuff
I
right
know,
now. So,
I know that.
Yeah, so that is doing that.
But where does it come from? Like when you got? Well, I'll ask you. Where does your inspiration come from when you write your song? When did you start writing songs?
I start straight away when I
Really?
grab the guitar.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Came natural to you both, pretty much. It sounded that way.
Natural.
Really?
And I never. This is me. I mean, I never go and listen to the recording, and I want to replicate the same things, the same solos they play. Freddie King. Okay, the theme. Okay, but the solo is gotta be your solo.
Right.
So I grew up like this. I mean, I never go, oh, listen this, listen that. No, I just listen what they do and the effect they have, the solo on the song, and the power. And then I say, oh, I want to replicate that power, that feeling. But of course, some notes, because the notes are the same, But the feeling is mine. I try to put my feeling, my way, my style,
It's interesting because I've talked with many musicians over the years, and recently I've done a few shows and was talking about influences and kind of similar questions to what I'm asking you, and almost each one of them came right back and said Stevie Ray Vaughan. They said Stevie Ray Vaughan. Not that they wanted to be Stevie Ray Vaughan, but he was the one who said, like, wow, he's the one who made me want to play the guitar, and I want to play like Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I don't want to be Stevie Ray Vaughan. I saw you both kind of make little funky faces over there. Jump on that, Willie. You were the first one, man.
Yeah, come on.
Talk about
go
that.
ahead.
You mean Stevie Ray King?
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray King, man.
Go for it.
Because
he Albert King.
he ripped off Albert King.
Okay.
When you hear Albert King, listen to Albert King. And
Oh, I
listen
love
to Stevie
Albert
Ray.
King.
Listen to Stevie Ray. Listen to Albert. Same licks, man. Same. I mean, Stevie, of course, man. I loved him. Don't get me wrong, man. I met Stevie when I was like
No, me too.
probably about 15.
Right.
When he was playing with a band called Triple Threat out of Austin. And I love Stevie, man. Don't get me wrong, bro. But he's copying Albert King.
So you're the first ones I've heard say that. I think in some ways everybody steals
'cause
from somebody somewhere along the line,
A
whether
black
they
blues,
do it
well, an
intentionally,
African American
or unintentionally.
blues, an African American blues man is going to tell you exactly where it comes from, because it's our music.
Yeah.
It's our music. It was born from our pain
Amen.
and our suffering.
And it evolved from jazz, right?
and
Evolved from jazz into blues.
No, jazz evolved from everything. Blues is the root.
Really? Okay.
Blues is the root.
Cool.
Anything that's American, uniquely our music, blues is at the root of it. Other things sprinkled in on top of it.
Okay.
But blues is the root, man. Without
Well,
that,
on that note, let's piggyback on that a little bit and say, how would you see the evolution of the blues going, from the time that you started learning it back in like 50s, 60s, or whenever you heard it, to where it is now? Some people call it an evolution, some people call it a de-evolution.
It's a de-evolution.
That's my take on it, but I want your thoughts, not mine.
It's a de-evolution because when I first started, like I said, there were more bands playing, there were more places, there were more opportunities. And it's just a de-evolution of music, period, because you can't find a CD player anywhere. They don't put them in computers anymore. They don't put them in your cars anymore. You're constantly being forced to stream music now. Whereas, we used to be able to sell product, off the stage or whatever,
Right.
and we still do some, but not as much. I used to be able to distribute at Walmart or distribute at Best Buy. I had distribution where, selling units, not just ordering 1,000 units and having them sit there for 6 months.
Right.
400 of those units have to go to my publisher, who gets me out there on the streaming platforms. It's costing me more money to produce music and make music than it's coming in. So it's not a good business model whatsoever.
Well, let's talk about the music itself. I mean, that's that. But what about the music itself? How, the people who play the blues, the people who have, come after the Kings, and come after the, we got the Joe Bonamasas of the world. What about the world today as music has progressed or regressed as far as the actual blues itself and playing?
Well,
what's your take on that?
You've seen over the years that a lot of the festivals and promoters and things have totally shunned a lot of African American performers, even the heirs. Until George Floyd happened, nobody was paying us any attention. And
You
now
got a lot of white
we've
people
had
playing blues.
almost
You got
5 years.
Roberto playing
Almost
blues.
5 years after, and there has been this like resurgence. Oh, we want to see more black people and more women and more this and that. Beautiful, but it's now I can see it kind of like waning at this thing like, oh well, we're okay now, we're fine now, and no, actually we're not, because it goes back to the point of if I can't sell you a CD at $20, whatever, and that's my living, that's what I do to make a living. How can I eat tonight? And then I have to depend on you or not you
I got you, the big
specifically,
you.
but in
The
general,
you.
to muster up another 50,000 people to stream one of my songs so I can make $50.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're not the first person who has said it, maybe not as eloquently as you, but people have certainly implied and inferred that.
Oh man, just
what they're going
check it.
through.
It's reality.
I believe it.
It is the reality of
believe
the
it.
music right now. It is horrible. But we do it because we love it. We love it so much, and we love making people happy. That's really the only reason to do it. If you can afford to do that and have that in your mind that you're doing it because you love it and you want people to be happy, and just leave it at that, then that way you won't drive yourself absolutely nuts. Because if you think anything outside of that box,
Makes no sense.
it makes
Put
no
2
sense.
cents or a nickel in that box. What's your take on all this, Roberto? Do you echo what Willie said?
I mean, I do with my band, with my name, 18 recordings now in my career.
18, yeah?
18. So plus a DVD and also collaboration
Right.
with Willie, with a lot of people.
Right.
But you know what? Now we got nothing in it. You got nothing. Because physically, I mean, our income, if you were talking about income, I mean, gigs, play, the money is ridiculous for music. They ask you play 3 sets, and they give you the same money. They want you there 5
5
hours.
hours before
Yeah.
before the show.
Before the show, we have to go there because the sound check, because you got the whole day there, and you got always the same money. Nobody pay you
Sometimes no food.
sometimes no food, sometimes no
nothing to
drink, no accommodation, no hotel. So the reason why I don't travel so much with the music is because if you see around, it's always the same band that goes around. There is no so many bands that they can do a tour in these days.
Right.
I used to do big tours in Europe
Yeah.
also, and when I did that, it was we stay on the road for 3 weeks, and we play around. We make money. Now you don't make money anymore.
No,
because
it's one
of
of the first
life.
questions they ask you is, how many people can you bring with you?
Oh, boy,
How many
forget
people
about
can you get in the seats? You know, they still throw that at you. When
Oh,
you're
yeah.
out there looking.
Jimmy's.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Jimmy's does
Jimmy's.
that. Yeah.
It's
So a
case
lot
in
of
point,
crap.
Jimmy's.
I mean,
Plus plus the music, the venues are drying up. There are
Oh,
not
yeah.
that many places to play. I mean, you had the weekly residents at the Next Page, our good friend Eddie Page. And now Eddie is debating whether or not he
stay
wants
open?
to keep music.
I'll keep music. Yeah.
Willie J. Law's radio streams on Pandora, by the way.
It does, right?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get like about $20 or something like that.
Wow.
Every 3 months or so.
Yeah, forget it.
And
Well,
honestly, dude, I have.
stupid.
I've only one time have I gotten anything with 3 figures. Only once, as far as like royalties and you don't get much.
So what's going to happen in the future now? It's you just outlined kind of a doom and gloom scenario.
No,
Do you
it's
see
not.
that
It's
changing
just,
at
no.
all, or
it's not I don't look at it as doom and gloom. I look at it as just a reality. I look at it as just a loss of appreciation for music and artists. A loss of appreciation by a large segment of people that just have been so inundated with a lot of other BS outside of music that it's hard now to just kind of, settle down, chill out, and say, you know what, I'd like to pick up this CD, or I'd like to pick up this old album, and I'm going to listen to it, and I want to read who was on here, because that was an experience in itself to be able to do that. You remember being buying CDs or albums
yeah.
and can't wait to get them home and play them, and you
I
you
still
had
need
that
to
whole
put an addition in my
experience,
house for all my CDs. I
That
still
was-
buy them. I still
that's-
listen to them.
And also, I mean, when you're recording, forget about the money you spend in the studio and everything, the production, everything. Forget about that. When you go to print it, the CD, and if you make a simple CD, okay, but if you put a little book inside,
Right.
with the lyrics, and you tell a little story on that
Yeah.
about why you're recording the album. Because I go to the studio when I have something to recording, not because in the blues mostly every 6 months they got a new CD. I mean every 8 months, a new CD, and the old CDs are the same. So you have to record something. You have a new song, something to tell to the people. Then I wrote inside a little story about that.
Right.
So why I'm here and why I recording this album, but like this, everything get lost. Because the people don't see physically the CD. They never open, and see the picture inside of the studio, the things.
I'm part of that dying breed, I guess.
know.
I do all of that. I
Me too,
eat,
me
drink,
too.
and sleep that stuff.
Me too. I don't download. I go to the store. I buy
Right,
stuff.
right.
And it's difficult to find a store now.
It's
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
It's harder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you two are collaborating. You said you're collaborating on a CD right now when you're doing some music together. What's that process like? You're over in Italy and you're here. Like, how does that work between the two? You do tracks over there, and then he does tracks over here, and you meet in the middle of the Atlantic somewhere. And
Yeah, well, that's kind of the plan right now. With
But we
this, and
start
it's kinda-
already to play
Yeah.
together and put some ideas.
Yeah.
So we have a rough
rough
tracks.
rough tracks and rough
Originals?
ideas.
Yeah. Originals?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Originals. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Any creative differences when you're writing? You know, who does most of the writing, or
We do it together.
Together.
you just do it together?
Yeah.
I think he's good also to put the lyrics because it's got a nice story. And
Right.
I love the way he wrote the lyrics. And this is my
Any butting
No, but
heads,
he's a
any
good musician, but
disagreements? You know,
he's
where you
got the-
throw things at each other. You know, and, come on, you must have a little bit of arguments here and there about
Creative process.
Creative process, the
It's
creative
not really
differences.
arguments. It's
but
just
a fun argument. You're
yeah.
back
I
and
just
forth, so it's
okay,
not
I
not
think
all.
we get to a point. Okay, try it. Does it work? You try this one. Okay.
Yeah.
You try this one, and we'll see. And if we try both of them,
Yeah.
or 2 or 3 of them,
Right.
and whichever one works,
Right,
okay, we both.
Yeah.
Go, oh yeah, okay, this
Right.
works.
right.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen you many times in concerts over the years, and I happened to see you just a few days ago when you were playing over at the Boston Harbor Distillery. And of all the times that I saw you, this one by far was the best of any of the shows I've seen, and I'm not the only one who echoes that. And when that chemistry hits, when the two of you are playing together, and I saw it right there. I mean, I remember the two of you showing off in front of my camera. You came right down, stood right in front of me. Whether you knew it or not, you did. But where does that chemistry come from? Is that organic? Or where does it come from?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
This is my
Yeah,
opinion,
man, go
but
ahead,
Go for
brother.
it.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the music.
Go for it.
All right.
It's a respect, and before we are friends, and we respect each other. Everybody's got a own career, own stuff to do, but when we play together, there is a lot of respect.
No doubt.
A respect, human. I mean, we never fight. We never. He never go over me, and I never go over him. And it's something. It works. It
Yeah.
works because there is that behind.
Well, I have 2 videos that I'll post out there,
That's right.
within the next year or
this is
2.
true, man, good.
And but you can see that, it's almost like the two of you look at it. You were over here, Willie's over here, and you just kind of glance at each other, and you knew what that meant. He glances at you, you knew what that meant. You starts taking a step, he starts taking the step. It was almost like, I'm sure it was unrehearsed, but it looked as though, wow, these guys are just, it's such symbiosis here that you move, he moves. You move, he moves. You smile, he smiles. You hit some notes, your face goes, wow. He hits some notes, your face goes, wow. And the self-admiration, I'm serious, the self-admiration and the self-love, right here, look at that. Look at these smiles. Look at these smiles, man. That's what comes out. That's what comes out on the stage. And anybody who has, the pleasure to see you guys should jump on that opportunity. Should jump on that opportunity because you two are magic on the stage.
It's true.
Plus you've got a couple of 3 good guys behind you.
Oh.
Talk a little bit about your band. I know them all very well.
Yeah. Oh man, OC, of course.
O.C.
on
Brathwaite.
drums, O.C. Brathwaite on drums, Bruce Mattson on keys, and of course, everybody knows Lenny
Lenny
Bradford.
B.
but-
You got Lenny
Lenny
B.
B. I mean, but we're fortunate that we do have a great pool here.
You really do, and you
of
picked the
other,
good ones.
musicians,
yeah.
that we perform with.
You do.
It's
You
true.
know,
Now you've made some. I've seen you a couple of times. You brought some people from Italy with you. One of the last shows you did, I think it was last summer. You brought somebody from Italy with you, didn't you?
My son,
You brought somebody.
yeah, Manfredo.
my son,
Was it your son?
my son, the drummer.
Yeah, but didn't you? You had a performer too. So you had another guy with you too,
No, it was
who
just,
played at the distillery. Played at the distillery. You had a guest with you.
That was Manfredo. That was your son that played.
No,
with
no,
us.
distillery. I played
was a
with
guitarist.
You. I
No,
played with
but
you.
last time.
No,
This was last summer, not this
Last
summer.
summer.
The summer before, you had
I
somebody
had
with
my
you.
son.
That was Manfredo.
My son, the tall guy.
Yeah, do you play guitar too?
No,
No,
it's
just drums.
No,
I'm going to have to go back into my archives. I
Yeah,
would have
look,
sworn
take
you
a
brought
look,
somebody
maybe.
with you.
Oh, maybe.
I'm pretty
maybe
sure
it
you
was
did.
American, not
Pretty sure you
Italian.
did.
for sure.
Yeah, he's the only Italian that comes over here.
Yeah.
And they're glad to get rid of you, right? It's like,
Yeah,
here, take them for a few months.
No, he has to stick around and make focaccia bread.
Yeah, for really, yeah.
We're going to start winding it down, but let me just throw a couple little things at you. One is that how do you see the audiences here in America, and how did you see the audiences over in Europe and Italy, where you go over there, Willie? How do you see the audiences in America versus what you have at home?
I mean, the audience here, to me, is amazing because they support a lot of live music, and then it's a true story. I mean, and I love the way they support the music because you feel they enjoy it, and this is what I like. No, I don't want to say something about Europe now because he's got to answer that.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead, you go first. What about the European audience? What do you
The
find?
European audiences I find very equally as cordial and nice, and as Roberto said earlier, very, very knowledgeable about the genre that they're going to see or participate in. So, and like I said, always really nice people. It's music soothes the savage beast, no matter where you are.
You should put that on a T-shirt. That might catch on.
But I honestly, I don't think it doesn't matter where you are, what country or language you speak or whatever, because it crosses
All genres.
all crosses
Race,
boundaries
colors,
and-
creeds,
yeah,
crosses
yeah,
everything, right?
everything.
Music is a
So
great equalizer.
If you're doing it correctly, doing it right, doing it with love and compassion and care, and doing it to make people happy, you go anywhere.
And I've seen you perform to full houses, and I've seen you perform to a sparse crowd, and you give just as much to the handful as you do to the masses, and I think that's a credit to you. So what is your take on the European?
Yeah,
It's a family show, so keep,
European, they very critical. They look you from the top to the hand. I mean, how you dress, how you move on stage.
Well, in
how
your case,
the
that's
way-
not a bad thing.
No, come on. But thank you anyway. But the way you speak, the time you waste from one song to the other, did that kind of.
Do they wait for
the
you to make a
pressure-
mistake? It's almost like they wait for you to make a mistake.
Oh yeah, the
Really?
pressure you have.
Really?
I
Wow.
mean, the pressure you have is a lot. I mean,
Wow.
and so it makes you play better.
Yeah.
and it makes you
Especially when
don't
they
do
don't
bullshit.
dance.
You know.
Especially when they
I
don't
was just
move.
I was
They
just
just-
going to say that is that with that contrast between that what you described and the American audience is that are you still as free flowing? I mean, the two of you play off each other, and the way in which I see you play, you are more prone to make a mistake. So
Yeah.
does that passion and that that oomph kind of take a
Kinda
little bit of a
cover
back
over the
seat when you're
mistake?
over in Europe? That you're more mechanical, you're more concentrating on what you're playing rather than how you're playing it?
No, this is not my way because that's why.
Because that's who you are, right?
I mean, yeah, I play with feeling all the time. Otherwise, I stay home.
Right.
I play with big feeling, and I put 100%
No doubt.
every time.
No doubt.
If you see me very sad on stage, something's wrong. Usually I'm not like this. So in Germany, for example, when I play, the very first time I went there, I was and I realized that they look at me like, what is doing this guy? What do you think he's, that kind of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the lady come to me at the break and she said, what do you think you are? Think you are a star? I said, what? So that kind of.
How'd you respond to that?
I said, no, I just play and have fun and I enjoy myself.
Wow.
And I try to to put some joy in the room and make you happy.
Wow.
And she said, look at me. This, the mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, if they saw you very, on stage, comfortable. They said, oh, wait a minute. No. they want you, keep you, they won't control you. You know what I mean?
Well, look at
I've experienced the same. I was
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say
yeah. I mean,
that,
you know.
well look at when we were down at John Alden's, and I something I still haven't lived down yet. You won't let me forget this, so I'll bring it up before you do. Roberto was playing his set, gets off the stage, and I say, well, you know, Willie will be right back in a minute. Willie will be right back in a minute.
boy.
Well, you do kind of look alike, you know.
I don't
There's a
think
strong similarity there.
This guy, man.
But anyway, but my point was that I was way over here. I was over where the pavilion was, and you know how wide that is. This little woman came marching across. She was this tall. She came marching across like she was in the military, and she walked up to me and she looked up at me and said, "His name is Roberto, not Willie." And I said,
I was there.
yeah. I said, I know that. I said I had a brain fart. I had a brain fart, you know. So I went over to John Hall, and I said, "Hey, John," I said, "you see that little woman over there?" I said, "She came over." I told her the story, and she goes, "She came over to me too."
Oh, yeah.
So is that your audience, like over in Italy, that you make one little mistake, you know, which you threatened to burn
yeah.
my house
Oh,
down
yeah,
and
yeah,
blow
yeah.
up my car as I was leaving, but
No, I mean,
no, but is that how the audience was, that, you know, you make that
No,
mistake
yeah,
and they jump all over it, just like this little woman did?
Yeah. I mean, especially, you know, in Germany there is the journalist that goes around the blues concerts, so they do review. So, and I have a lot of reviews in Germany.
Any bad ones?
I got some bad,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
like you know, some people don't like the way I put the blues together with because mine is Michelin, you call it
Michigas.
different. I
Right,
put soul,
right.
I put funk, I put a little bit of rock and roll, I put the rock, blues, everything's together. So
Right.
and they complain. But I had an experience in Italy, in Germany. I had the journalist sent it to me in email. They say, "I want to do an interview with you, but," he said, "but I need to write down a story. You got story for me?" And I reply, say, "What the kind of story you want to hear? I mean, about my experience,
right.
my life." No, I just write only if you have a story, good story to tell. And I start thinking about it. What the kind of story I have to tell? And then I said, "I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. I don't know how."
Right.
And he said, "Doesn't matter. You have a story. Put the story together. Something fake."
How does that differ from
Something
just a
fake.
regular interview, that he brings out that story in you
Something
rather
fake.
than you
He
having
asked
to
me
rehearse the
put
story?
Something fake.
Wow.
You know, just to have a story, because the people, he said, if I write an article about you, nobody read the article. But if you have a good story, so they get into it, they want to hear the story. This is the things in these days.
I believe you.
And it's a true story.
I believe you.
Una storia vera, we say in Italian.
I'm sure there are a lot more stories, but we
Yeah,
have
we
to.
got no time, yeah.
We
Yeah,
got
we're
plenty
running
of time,
out of
but I think we should start wrapping it up. But let me ask you this. I'll start with you, Willie. If you were walking through a park and you could pick anybody, living or dead, sitting on a park bench, who would you want to sit and have a conversation with? Just one, anybody, living or dead. Who would you want to sit in that park bench with? Let's keep it to music. Music. Which musician?
Music related.
Music related.
Music
Who would you want to sit in that park bench with for an hour and talk to?
Philip Walker.
Philip Walker. You referenced him earlier. Your mentor.
Mm-hmm.
What would you learn? What do you think you would learn that you haven't learned from him already? What do you think he would say? And what would you ask him?
Shit, I just asked him how it's going.
You'd what?
How's it going?
How's it going?
How's it going, man? What's up? I used to, I always had a wonderful time talking to him, but he's not the only one, but you just said one. And there's
All right.
just
Pick
so
another one.
many,
Pick two.
right?
Pick another one.
Paul Nelson.
The late, great,
Yeah.
super guy.
Yeah.
Super guy. Why Paul?
Oh man, we were just really starting to really get to know each other.
The music room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Great guy. I can
Ne-
tell you
never
some
had
Paul
any,
Nelson
you know.
stories that are real cool. I'll tell
Yeah.
you later. I'll tell
Well,
you later.
and it's kind of like with Roberto too. It was just one of those brotherhood kind of things with that mutual
Right.
respect and mutual love, not as a musician but as human being first, and then
Right.
and so we had that kind of connection.
Right. Right.
So and those
Great guy, great background,
those
great storyteller.
connections are rare. Those connections like that, they don't come by every day. They don't happen all
Amen.
the time.
Amen.
So
Now, you're probably going to think I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to throw you a little curveball, right? I'll give you a hammer and a chisel, and you've got to build your Mount Rushmore with 4 people on there. What 4 people are you going to put on your Mount Rushmore up there?
But not in the music, right?
Oh,
General.
no, give me music.
Music.
Stick 4 people up there on your Mount Rushmore.
I can put Willie there.
Okay.
Hey.
I can put Willie there, and I can put not because he's here, but it's a true story.
understand.
Because I think Willie is got a good heart, and Willie is a nice person, and I mean I got good feeling with him. So I tried to get out of him, but
Look at that.
it didn't work.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
It didn't work.
He wore the dark glasses
You're
to
stuck
hide,
with
the,
me, man.
hide the tear or hide the eye roll, whichever.
Yeah, but there is another
with me.
guy I want to put there.
Go.
It's Jesse Young. Jesse Young.
Jesse Owens.
No, Jesse Young.
Young. Okay. Young. Okay.
Jesse Young, Big Jesse is the artist's name. Is a singer from Baltimore.
Okay.
This guy I make a lot of tour with him. I did I don't know 4 or 5 tours together.
Cool.
I mean in Europe, and he's always he put me into the blues. I mean very deep in the blues. This guy is a blues singer, like Bobby Bland, Sam Cooke, that kind of singer, and B.B. King. He's got that feeling, and when I sit with him most of the time, he give me a lot of advice in the music, the way how to play. This is guy I put him together with Willie.
Cool. That's 2.
Yeah, you ask me if
Give me 2 quick ones.
So, I guess to have my father over there.
Awesome.
My father passed away 2 years ago, and I miss him very much.
Right. Any TV hosts that you might think of? Give me one more.
what do you think about that?
Give me one more. Oh, I stayed up all night thinking of that.
Oh,
Go
man.
for it. Pick one more. Pull one out of the hat.
I can put another one. The other one is my keyboard player from Italy. It's Daniele. He played with me 33 years.
Awesome.
We played together.
Awesome.
And I miss him very much. He get lost in the music. We have no more connection together, but we still be friends. And I put him, Daniele.
Good for you. Now, you're going to be leaving town in a few days. When are you coming back?
Oh boy, April, if everything's going well with my lawyer. If everything's going well with him, and they give me another visa for 3 years, I'll be right back in April.
In April?
Yeah.
Good for you. Any tours coming up for you, Willie?
No, I'm just sticking around here pretty much.
You still going to do your residency at that place in Sharon? Your restaurant
No,
where you played there a lot?
that went away, man. That place
really?
went away.
Really?
Maybe 8 months ago. I think.
Really that long
yeah,
ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it was like you were saying earlier, right? Places just hard to stay open.
Wow.
You know.
Well, I have to tell you, this has been a real treat for me, and I'm sure for the folks at home. And we have a nice studio audience here today. We have George Carr in the audience.
Yeah.
We have Terry Slagle in the audience.
Oh.
And we have Bob Taccio in the audience.
Bob.
And I have to
yeah.
give some shout outs to you for some bigger fans who were supposed to have been here today. Our good friend Donnie Cerrone. He came here
He
before
came
the show.
earlier.
Yeah.
He came earlier, but he had to
came
leave.
earlier.
And
yes.
another big supporter of the show, I have to give a shout out to a guy named Rich Goldman,
Oh,
who is a big supporter of the show, and he asked me personally to wish you well. And I think you might be friends on Facebook, but you'll see his comments and he'll tag you in there.
okay.
But, you know, we wouldn't be able to do this show if it wasn't for the good folks here at SMAC. So I have to give a shout out to Anya, who runs the ship.
Yeah.
I have to give a big shout out to Luke Asak, who pushes the buttons and make us look and sound pretty. And I also have to thank you two, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Thank you,
And
Well,
Frank.
thank you,
folks,
Frank.
this is the
Thank you
kind
for
of
having us.
entertainment that you can get by going out to the clubs, supporting your musicians. Not even your local musicians, but James Montgomery corrected me one time and he said, there's no such thing as a local musician. We're musicians. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and I always remember that,
True.
is go out and support your musicians. So, for everyone here at SMAC, for Roberto
Thank you, Frank.
and Willie,
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
thank you so
man.
much. And as
Yeah.
always, I am Frank Walsh. Tune in and tune on. That was pretty damn good, man.
Yeah.